All right, y'all. Apparently, it's a few things we need to discuss. I'm not sure if it was 48 hours, 36 hours into this presidency, but we're getting computer chip injections front and center. Like, nobody asked for this at all, but this is the first topic on the docket. Seriously. So I have something interesting planned for everybody tonight. I'm going to share a little bit about, I don't know, just some of my take on the last few days since the inauguration. Hello, everyone. If you're still up, good morning, good night. I don't know where you're located at, but I hope you're doing all right wherever it's at. Don't matter where, it don't matter. I hope you're doing all right, all right? All right. So, I toyed tonight with whether to kind of come at it serious or come at it absurd, and I think I just gotta put a little bit of dash of humor on top, because the seriousness of the matter and how dire the world and the situation is right now, I think it warrants some sort of humor through the madness. But some of y'all might be a bit sad, confused, dejected at the state of how the last, I don't know, just day or so has gone, specifically with regard to the things that the new administration has decided to focus on. I took a minute, I hadn't said anything since the inauguration. And to be honest, I took that time to just soak it all in. That was my first goal. I was like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just going to absorb, just read, watch and see what I see. Hello, Castle Moat. Hope you're doing well tonight. What's up, Mr. Morris Anthony? So when I tell y'all, like, I have a unique perspective, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about this biofield conversation, because I honestly think that this is really the big conversation behind the scenes. I honestly believe that this is the crux of what is being warp sped, what is being spearheaded, what is contributing to the confusion and the complacency of a nation that seems to be under subversion in real time. And I'm speaking of America, kind of, but I'm kind of speaking of the entire world, in that, y'all, they're full steam ahead with this agenda. So, where's my handy dandy little chart I pulled up before? I think it's over here. Here it is. I've shown this chart in the past, and I'm not going to refer to it too heavily tonight. But the reason we're going to go back to this chart is because we still talking about this, right? They still talking about mRNA, right? mRNA, that's what I heard the word. That's what he said. That's what Larry Ellison said. Looking like a doggone robot. This is what's happening, y'all. It's the tech industry. It's not what y'all think. So when I started speaking out, maybe like a few weeks ago now, specifically on the subject matter of the Internet of Bodies, the biofield, and what's really going on in the world as far as like the unseen realm and the militarized nature of the unseen realm, particularly the body part that's referred to as the human biofield. When I started broaching that conversation, I did so because I was captivated, fascinated, and quite highly educated by the work of someone slightly older than me, much smarter than me, but this person specializes in network engineering. And while I'm not a networking engineering specialist, I understand a little bit about the concept of network engineering. And so it was kind of a surprise to me to learn that all of what I knew about engineering was not only obsolete, but it was actually not quite obsolete. It was pretty accurate. It just needed a biologically integrated update, meaning I needed to take what I believed and then morph it, transmute it to be applicable to be working on human bodies, because that's actually what's going on, y'all. So when you hear him say, oh, we can take a couple pieces of DNA and sequence it, and in 48 hours, we can have a working injection that can help cure what you need, that's not the mechanism of action. I don't believe that that is what actually would happen. I believe that this is a wireless, remote neural monitoring approach within what they refer to as network-centric warfare. But for some reason, people just seem either too scared or too confused to get what I'm saying. So I'm going to let my friend and someone who has actually inspired and introduced a whole lot of this important information to me, Sabrina, tell it to you. But we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to dramatize it. So I've shared, you might be familiar with the work of someone, Sabrina Wallace. Some people know who this lady is, some people don't. But if you've been paying attention in the last few years, you probably may have heard of her, or at least somebody might have sent you some of her work. Because I do believe that there are levels to this, right? There is the, hey, everything's normal in the world and we just need to vote for the right guy level. Then there's the, okay, I'm pretty sure both these politicians aren't that bad, or are pretty bad rather, but I'm just gonna vote for the one that I think is less bad than the other, right? That's a separate level of being awake. Then you have the group of people that are like, I know there's something's up. I know they're both bad. I'm not really interested in what that is. I want to know the truth. That's the other level. And then there's the other level that's like, hey, I used to work at this job and I got a crazy security clearance. Plus my family and my colleagues and the milieu of the crew that I run through and work through, they all actually have higher clearances than me. And here's what's really going on when you combine my expertise, their expertise, and everybody else. That's like a level that's way up here. And that's a level that I don't operate on. I don't have any military clearance levels or anything like that. But I am interested in hearing someone whose family member may or may not have, to the degree that it can help inform me on what's really going on. Because if I can tell you one thing, y'all, what they say going on, that ain't what's going on. All right? So I decided I was going to do this. Take the work of Miss Wallace and literally dramatize it. I thought about calling it, talking my shit, like a turd that's talking shit. Or I don't know though. Like I thought about maybe calling it like BS, like am I BSing? Question mark, is this a bunch of BS? But the whole idea is that it's tough stuff delivered in the form of a memoji. So if I hit play right here.
So is that continued?
We're going to listen through this because this is an excerpt from a recent interview she did. And this is, it's not an interview at all, sorry, a recent live stream she did. It's toward the end of the episode, the last like 15 or so minutes of this episode. And I'm listening to it the other day and I'm going, she's making such a great point. Like such a fantastically amazing point. And her point is, most people have their head buried in the inauguration. They're paying attention to this as if Donald Trump or any appointee of Donald Trump factors into the bigger equation as much as the television and the news cycle would have us think. And the answer is simply that he doesn't, and this is much bigger than the pay grade of a president. This is a familial, generational endeavor that was launched before Donald Trump was even born. And if you ask me, he was probably born specifically into the role that he is taking in this very unique moment in the bigger equation. And for that reason, I just think that people need to kind of be given a little bit of a clear heads up. So I'm spending the next little bit of time over the next few live streams and updates, trying to find creative ways to get hard information chopped up in a BitTorrent size and broken down and put in a blender and chopped all up. And maybe I'll put some music to it or something. And I hope to just kind of connect to people who otherwise couldn't handle the technicality of what Miss Wallace presents. Now, I can handle it. In fact, y'all be watching like Netflix at night and like chilling with PlayStation. I don't do none of that. I just be like, all right, what's the new Sabrina episode? I just put on things that I find both entertaining and enlightening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you the dramatized version in my not even my bathroom, my wife's bathrobe. I had to go hunt for a bathrobe as the memoji version of myself. I can see this, right? as the Memoji version of myself delivers a dramatized performance of a very key aspect of what Sabrina's talking about. So I had a lot of people chime in, and I'm going to play it here in just a second, but we're going to play and pause and go through some of what she's talking about because it's like, y'all, it's crazy out here. So the first thing y'all need to know is that these, I showed this chart, right? And this chart is made of 8 compartments: history, religion, food and drug, pharma, educational sector, the entertainment sector, government and politics, and the tech sector. And for the most part, people are used to concentrating on inconsistencies or systems within these buckets separately. This middle part is illustrating that we're under a transition, y'all. We're going from a centralized market to a decentralized one, and it ain't all roses and smileys. We're going from conventional financial systems to these new biometrically attached financial systems, okay? We're going from, conventional internet based off computer servers onto this new Internet of Bodies, where, yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, they are actually controlling electricity and electrons and thermal adjustments in and around your actual skin. And yes, it's possible. And yes, there's patents. And yes, there's white papers on this. And yes, there's textbooks on this. It's just that it's compartmentalized. And the point is for people to not really catch what's really going on kind of till it's too late. So if you haven't noticed, we're in this full tilt. Out with the old and in with the new. Out with the old and in with the new. Said out with the old. We're gonna lie. In with the new. We're gonna buy. What we're lying about? We're lying about the scope of the entire trick that was going on. And what we're buying in the process is your trust in the new trick. Okay? The old trick is on its way out the door. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, 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 bye. Yeah, I remember how the song went. The new trick just posted up in the White House, and it's not that it's that new. But the new trick has a whole campaign revolving around expose of the old trick. So that just when it's finally Mark Zuckerberg, like, okay, you can talk about what you want to talk about now. Yeah, Mark, because it's right on cue. Like, plus we know you don't actually be running Facebook. Like some of us have done our homework. Okay, so you're not fooling everybody with that. The White House called me and told me to actually do stuff to actually make your parents not be informed about the thing that may or may not have injured. You see what I'm saying? It's like, we not buying your little sorry apology, Mark Zuckerberg, and nor are we buying, or at least me, I'm not buying the aloofness in this, I'm surrounding myself with all these tech oligarchs, but I just want to make America great again. No, bro. Donald Trump knows exactly what the wuck he's doing, okay? And he is not confused, as you might be. His choices to surround himself with, a vice president pumped out the silicon wafer by Mr. Teal, with his right hand, what was it called? Department of Government Efficiency, with 2 technocrats. This guy who's like the richest man on earth. I'm the richest man on earth, and I'm standing right next to the most popular president. But let's not ask who's really pushing weight around here. You know what I'm saying? So we have been given this "Make America Healthy Again" slogan, right? As if we can ever point to a time when America was truly healthy as health full potential is concerned. But what I hear when I hear healthy is e-health. They be loving that inversion thing. Oh, we're not going to do healthy. We're going to make them the electronic health premier of the world, e-health. So Trimorphic says Zuckerberg and Elon have both kissed the ring of another foreign nation, which treats the U.S. as his bitch. And I think you're right. So we're not going to get political tonight. That's for a separate night. We're going to keep it kind of technical and kind of silly. So the first thing I want y'all to understand is that while most people were paying attention to the inauguration, my head was looking at everything but what y'all was paying attention to. The first thing I noticed is that every time I saw an American flag on any sort of oval campaign stage desk, whether he's signing these executive orders, which shouldn't be. That's a whole, exploitation of the Emergency Powers Act, but whatever. Whether he's giving his little speech at the inauguration, whether it's the homeboy with the, I have a dream that one day black people and white people, and like, bro, what you talking about? Sit down somewhere. We all had heard the dream, we heard the speech. You over there talking like John Legend sings, like a whole chat bot, like an AI. That's what you look like up there. Anyway, we've seen it all. Yes, I saw him swear in without putting his hand on the Bible. Yes, I've heard plenty of Christians make 1,000 excuses for why that happened. Yes, I realize that they don't do a single thing by accident. They rehearse this. He's actually sworn himself in before and didn't forget to put his hand on the Bible. We're not even getting into that tonight. Tonight, we're talking about activating and unlocking, what, $500 billion, is it? 500 billion whole entire dollars to create something that nobody wants, that will not make you any healthier. In fact, it will probably exacerbate your health to a great extent. But that's the whole point of problem, reaction, solution. Yeah, I said the problem. Reaction, solution for confusion. Oh, I said the problems. Oh, reaction. Y'all get it. All right, so we're not going to belabor with music much tonight. What we're really going to do is just highlight Sabrina's analysis of this, the dichotomy between where she sits looking at the bigger picture, which is where I sit looking at the big picture, and where most people sit who are focused on the election. So without further ado, I'm going to actually be posting this as its own standalone video. But for right now, we're just going to do some commentary on it because I'm in the middle of tweaking the green screen and getting it all right, picking the background. Anyway, this is what we got.
So as that continued, we're now here, which is everyone's wrapped up right now in the inauguration. Ain't going to change any of what I'm showing you. Trump is not going to tell the blockchain, okay, turn it off. I told you. Augmenting. For life extension technology. Did you guys in the blockchain tell people that you were violating God's creation by being under their skin? No. You sent out Karen Kingston to tell them they already had the mark of the beast and a demon field. Then you sent out Pavlov Lapova to tell them there was no nano. No nano.gov. Nope. Then you sent out more grandmas to scare them and tell them, just sit there and pray. It's all going to be over because Jesus is coming. Not a one of you found that disrespectful? Oh, you're wrong. A lot of people did. And a lot of people still do because they come over here and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You mean it's this simple? You connected our own anatomy to the wireless? You have a remote control and it's for my healthcare?
802.15.6 is in the IEEE Standard Working Group.
Because that wasn't enough. They got to turn you into something a little less biological and a lot more synthetic.
Why? Because it makes the input-output to their system a bit more efficient when they do that. They need you to be in a sick, diseased state because without the proper minerals, I should say in a malnourished state, because without the proper minerals, your body uptakes the synthetics minerals that they're introducing into your environment, to your diet, to begin building this intra-body system. You got to be in a fight or flight state for their system to be most effective. So, there's all kinds of things that I'm learning and that I'm trying to help put together as to the bedrock of how this works. We'll get into some of the details, but they need you to be a little less biological and a little bit more synthetic, because that removes your connection to this earth. That actually helps reverse what they're doing. And it actually helps enhance what they're doing when you're less biological and more synthetic, okay? So when he over here talking about some mRNA, you can cure cancer in less than 48 hours. Yeah, no, they're already doing this wireless system so that they can access you via your biofield wirelessly without your permission. And then they're going to sell you on some sugar pill called mRNA. Pause. I know that mRNA is a thing. I'm not suggesting that it isn't. What I'm saying is they're using the one term that you're familiar with loosely enough that supposedly ended this pandemic as the one tiny 4-letter title that they can shoehorn all of this technology through that has nothing to do with mRNA at all. It's just they can't actually tell you that they can wirelessly access your biofield. And it's been kind of worked into the official terms of the official working groups of the official, standards of this world. They can't just come out and say that. So they got to be like, well, mRNA? I mean, you don't know how it works, do you? I didn't think so. So, as far as you know, it's mRNA. mRNA, that's what it is. No, it's mr/na dot login says enter and enter update. It's a separate thing, y'all. They're slow rolling you with what they talk about. So continuing.
What are they getting rid of? You're paying for your ability to breathe.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna rewind it a bit.
More synthetic. And what are they getting rid of? You're paying for your ability to breathe. Carbon credits. And they're not getting rid of that. They're going forward. They're building data centers. Who is? Trump.
They're building data centers. Who is? Your boy, Donald Trump. Now this was said. She said this before the big announcement just yesterday or whatever about with Larry Ellison and the other two gentlemen. So some of us already knew the data centers was being built. A lot of y'all probably didn't, but that's okay. That's not the point. The point is he building some data centers, okay? And that's not for your health. That's to actually help maintain the digital duplications and the digital ledger that the constituency that he manages is developing, so that it's all in house. Y'all know what the thing? People, they already have your DNA. Well, yes, they do, but they're not sharing it. Okay, they got to get it a different way. 23andMe got to get it one way. The hospital system got to get it a different way. These outpatient clinics and these different labs, where you get blood panels. These integrate into the bigger network. Bet, okay? Bet. Just take my word for it. We're not, tonight isn't about getting into the minutia of all the different realities. It's just really highlighting the like massive chasm that exists between what's really going on and people over there like, well, maybe RFK will get in there and HHS will. Maybe Donald Trump just got some bad advice, maybe he didn't realize that the Bible, 2 of them was standing right next to him, and he just forgot to put his finger up. And also then maybe Elon Musk and Larry Ellison together convinced him. He lost the bet. Maybe that's what he was. He lost the bet, and that's why he decided to move forward with Project Stargate. Okay. Oh, it's called Stargate. We've heard of Stargate before. Oh, it's about remote viewing. Oh, that's what they told you. Did they also tell you remote viewing was an additional category and network within the 802.15 working group? Did they happen to mention that? Oh, they let you see Stranger Things. They didn't bother telling you how it's not just a fake story. This is actually what actually has been going on since the 50s and 60s, if not before. And here you are just figuring it out in 2025. Let's keep it moving.
Are y'all set? There is no politician. It wouldn't have mattered. They're all doing the same thing. They lied to you. There's Hillary in her pretty red outfit. You're all still talking to the Department of Energy, QAI, as if the White Hats.
Ooh, y'all all still talking to the Department of Energy, QAI, as if the White Hats. Where we go one, we go all. Just might have been all the way around the corner up the road at the DOE. Yo, no, this is the truth. This is an AI above some particle collider at your local, I don't say your local, but somebody's local Department of Energy. Again, she said it's not a Trump versus Kamala thing. This is absolutely not partisan in this way. It wouldn't have mattered which politician it was. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. Y'all, no, we had a comma. We went to war. No, that's what they wanted you to think, so that most of y'all could get on board with accepting and putting your energy behind the acceptance of the person who's rolling out The computer upgrades as we speak. Operation Warp Speed 2.0. Make America E-health again. Make America healthy. E-health. Healthy. Health. E-health. E-health. Healthy. Health. E. Healthy. Health. E-health. Health. E-health. Healthy. You see what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, if you've ever heard of electronic medical records. Yeah, no, we've all heard of electronic medical records, bro. You're like 30 years behind the curve with the concept of electronic medical records. Why are you announcing it from the White House day 2 and we still got all these other issues we trying to get corrected? That's what everybody I know who actually is voting is saying. Let's continue.
You still don't get it.
I'm going to rewind it just a little bit so y'all can kind of see what she
The
said.
same thing. They lie.
Let's go back to the politicians part.
Now listen, there is no politician. It wouldn't have mattered. They're all doing the same thing. They lied to you. There's Hillary in her pretty red outfit. You're all still talking to the Department of Energy, QAI, as if the White Hats. You still don't get it. They needed you to stay 6 feet apart and sit in your kill box to finish their digital twin databases for this right here. When your microwave and radio frequency engineers saw your COVID pain turn into salary and bonus gains, when the MIT student said, "Oh, it's like there's an arms race for these equations," for body area networks and visible light communication, that's right. And for those of you that go, "Oh my God, where is she? Why wasn't she out here?" I was. Your Mikey Adams and his friends Brighteon were severe. They were very cruel.
Calling out names.
And dangerous towards the end, as it took me over to the Odysee.
Now, here's the thing. That's her. She don't like Mike Adams. I don't have no feeling one type of way toward Mike Adams because I don't really pay attention to him. But to her point, gatekeepers was gatekeeping this whole time because nobody was talking about the medical body area network. This official working separate subset of an internet class that's just for medical and AI precision healthcare and all the stuff that Trump and Ellison's already talking about. Nobody's talking about that. I am just poking my way around trying to figure out what's out. And all I knew is, they deal in problem, reaction, solution. And the reaction is so tech managed. And the doing, doing, doing solution is basically biotech. I mean, the name of the company is called BioNTech. I can't just help but call a spade a spade. Like maybe the problem is also tech-based if the solution and the reaction are tech-based too. Don't have me say that sentence and say, the fifth generation, the acronym for the 5th generation wireless protocol, because fact check, shut down. That was my reality 2021, 2022, and I was speaking about it. Oh, but it's fine to talk about it now. Why? Because everybody done shot the upgrade in them, for grandma's sake and everything. And now that Fauci is pardoned and ain't nobody gonna do a gosh darn thing about it, the show can continue. Fauci just sat on the toilet for the last 18 months, didn't say a single word. And here we are, pardoned. And then Trump just hopped in and didn't even say nothing about the pardoning of the worst war criminal that we know about. I mean, there's other bad ones, but in terms of what we know about, this dude basically needs to be hung. You see what I mean? But this dude didn't say nothing about it. All right, now here's what we're doing. Me and Larry Ellison and Elon Musk and Altman and your boy from OpenAI and the other healthcare guy, we're going to actually roll out Stargate, which is the live drill. Drill, baby, drill. Drill. It's, we're saying drill and we're saying Stargate in the same sentence in a public press conference so that y'all can know that we are going live with the very thing that Anthony Fauci helped lays into y'all ass this whole last 4 years. I mean, bad guy, right? But thanks, Joe, for the pardon, because at least I didn't have to do it. Anyway, next, everybody pay attention to this. What did the gay pastor say at the inauguration service? Like, let's talk about that and not the fact that your body is interconnected into this system in a way that I think is invasive and illegal and trespassing and very much like an adult's conversation that y'all don't seem to want to have, because y'all be wanting to have these like, well, Kamala wouldn't have been any better. Y'all really think that these people way down at the president level call shots? They got handlers, they got bankers, they got military folk, they got brotherhood boys. There's layers and layers. Y'all really think that this is how this works? The president just signs a bill. TikTok, oh. Don't ask me why TikTok was like, sorry guys, we had to shut TikTok down, but we're working with Donald Trump to make it back better. If you ask me, Donald Trump was like, listen, TikTok, this is how this is going to go. I'm about to buy y'all out. We're not going to make that public. Y'all going to shut it down for 12 hours. Y'all going to say, we're working with me to bring it back up. Y'all going to turn it back on, in which case every single person who uses TikTok just saw my name flash on their screen in a favorable context. And then y'all going to forget about that in 2 months. That they just banned TikTok for 12 hours. Like, what was I supposed to do in the first place? It's a joke, y'all. It's a whole entire clown show. I don't know how else to tell you. I'm gonna let Sabrina tell.
So there's a couple of my videos that are loaded back here, and guess what? You click on one of these and you're gonna see the exact same thing that I was saying in 2022. Now, you're gonna see the exact same human anatomy. You're gonna hear the exact same history.
I wish it had some like
come from.
organs.
You're gonna hear it all because it's right there, and it didn't change. You just lied. And then I can hear juxtaposition. Brandon, you know that's what they do. I do. I understand. I get it. Really, I get it. You are protecting your bank accounts. I get it. But you know what? I don't think the death of my child or my children...
All right, now listen to this part. Let me not joke on it.
I don't think the death of my child or my children or myself is worth your lying mouths. And instead of treating this the way you claim, which is the world's going to end any day, we have no idea what we're doing, oh my God, Revelation is here, then why are you lying about God's creation? Because there ain't a one of you that he's going to look on. Not one. You're lying about his creation. You're leading his creation into the grave, all the while telling him complete garbage and hokum, telling him to be afraid every 5 minutes. And will my people perish for lack of knowledge, especially when the knowledge is denied from them at the very pulpit in the pews they're sitting in.
Ooh, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Hosea, oh man. Especially when that knowledge is denied to them from the very pulpit or audience or television channel or scientific journal or blog or Substack or podcast that they're listening to or reading. Which is like 99% of all these publications out here. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is why I'm trying to come to y'all with dignity, poise, and make a little bit of noise. Because I need y'all to understand, we're further into this game than they would have us believe. A lot of y'all be hearing high-pitched noises. A lot of y'all be feeling like something's off in the air. A lot of y'all can feel external, especially computerized stimuli affecting you in your physical space, but you don't know how to actually place it anywhere. You don't know why. You think you might be the only one. You don't know what to call it or what to make of it. I can help clarify that. My name's Chris. I'm not an astrophysicist or like a super duper nerd. I'm just a smart guy who likes to learn how things work. If I geek out on anything, it's I geek out on learning how something works. So I wanted to learn, how does this internet of bodies really work? And what is this whole biofield all about? And what I learned is that the human electrical experience is very interconnected by default. Certain people have stronger biceps and certain people have smaller biceps. I'm very tall. I am also very skinny, okay? So I don't have great strong biceps. I have much longer legs than you, but I probably don't have thicker thighs than you on average. However, the biofield as a body part is this body part that we all have, and certain people have a greater strength over it, and others have a lesser strength or ability to control it or identify it or perceive it. And a lot of us are working from the deficit that we all just kind of were dealing with this since we've all been born or shortly after. So it's hard to kind of parse out what's foreign if it's been around your whole life. You know what I mean? So with that said, I'm going to continue with my talking, but I just want people to I want to present something serious in a completely like ludicrous way, because I want people to watch this and be like, okay, that was either the craziest thing I've ever heard or he's making a lot of sense. And I'm putting myself in this context because I think this is all you're hearing on television. All you're used to hearing on TV all day is a pile of cow manure. Refined compostable dookie. Dookie. With a capital K and a lowercase d. It stank. So I said, okay, if y'all just want to hear a bunch of bullshit, I can be on my bullshit too. I'm gonna let Sabrina be on hers.
There's no excuse. None. There is no excuse. This should have already been handled, but instead, you put all your faith in men. Orange-haired guys, all these, I'm a doctor, I'm cybersecurity. You're frauds. Look at this. Man, this is Non-Vaxxers channel, so we'll be here all day. And you'll be watching MIT, the European Union, market size and growth in nanomedicine, IEEE MBS. You'll see a bunch of my educational stuff too, but this type of stuff, NATO, NASA, CERN, the National Nano Institute, Biosensing and the Optical, these are white papers that he recorded the AI reading to you because I was like, dude, I'm reading so many papers. And, you know, people are whiny. I don't like her. So he had the AI read it to you. Thanks. You're welcome. We don't care. Dude, you're not hurting my feelings, believe me. Nobody cares. They really don't. They're like, Brina, I don't know anybody who complains about your hair. Well, that's good, don't you think? Can we start talking about the molecular communication, the MK Ultra past to the present, chemical biological has merged with cyber and AI, and it's changing our ability for non-consent, straight from Giordano, of course.
Did y'all hear that? Can we get to talking about chemical bio? Hold on, I'm gonna go back to this part.
The MK Ultra.
So I want y'all to hear that part.
Don't you think? Can we start talking?
Joey Roots, I will post who this is. This is actually a female. Her name is Sabrina Wallace. I pitched her voice down on purpose because I want it to be like, I want people to not necessarily know who it is at first. And I want them to seek out who it is. Because everybody who ain't trying to seek out what this lady was saying, y'all not trying to know no way. And everybody who is, when you seek it out, you'll find it. And the information will blow your mind. So if it's coming from a talking piece of dookie at first, great. Just as long as it gets your attention, you can pay attention to it. Her name is Sabrina Wallace, by the way.
About the molecular communication.
Can we talk about the important things like the molecular communication? That's molecule to molecule, being able to externally identify and assay what the state of your cellular molecules at any point. And separately, being able to have certain relay nodes within you using intrabody terahertz nano networks. You might not have ever heard that word, but there's entire college courses and job descriptions that specifically specify and that specific speciality, okay? That communicate, you know, glucose levels, electrical states that can then get modeled and translated into something in a bigger system and then passed either via bootstrapping to your Apple Watch, your phone, your Fitbit, your iPad or whatever, or via the electromagnetic frequencies that come off your body having been interfaced with what they called the cyber secure cyber physical backbone. So if I'm hitting you with a lot of terms, trust me, I ain't hitting you with near as many as she would. I was sitting there like, all the terms flying my way, ducking down, smacked in the face like, whoa. Never heard this acronym before. This is the 73rd thing I wrote down I need to look up. But one can learn this, and one can at least wrap their head around what this lady's talking about, because it's all backed up by white papers from the departments and the different agencies themselves, by Department of Defense warfare manuals, our current warfare doctrine, what they define as warfare, is what's called network-centric warfare. Network-centric. That don't mean motherships off the coast of New Jersey. That's not what that means. That means we might just kill you, and we might just license your own oxygen and your own health back to you if you was foolish enough to sign for our contract. And sorry, we didn't tell you that you shouldn't do that. In fact, that guy over there tried to tell you, and we told Mark Zuckerberg to tell the other guy to tell them that you can't hear that information. Now we got Mark Zuckerberg out there like, oh, I'm so sorry. But it doesn't really matter now, does it? Because exactly what we wanted at the time in 2021 is exactly what we accomplished. Everybody who was going to get it and a whole bunch of people who wasn't already got it. Everybody who wasn't going to get it still didn't get it, no matter how much bullying and peer pressure they faced during that season. Back to Ms. Wallace. I'm going to let her talk her shit.
Don't you think? Can we start talking about the molecular communication, the MK Ultra past to present, chemical biological has merged with cyber and AI, and it's changing our ability for non-consent.
Whoop! Chemical biological is merged with AI. And it's changing our ability for non-consent. Woo, that's a mile high meringue pie. Ooh-wee. That's a lot. She just said a whole lot in a little bit. It's changing our ability.
And it's changing our ability for non-consent, straight from Giordano. These are jobs. You're telling people it's aliens.
She brings up a great point. These are jobs. Okay, now if you ever do catch her work, and she always mentions, okay, they're jobs. Tell me HOW, how? Okay, these are jobs, right? The jobs she's referred to are the fact that people's actual job description, particularly once you get past certain security clearances, is just to go to work and snatch up a PlayStation controller and wirelessly log into patient X, patient Y, patient Z for whatever reason. Maybe it's a they're targeting you for some reason. Maybe they're not targeting you for some reason. Maybe you have biohacked your way into being an augmented human, and you enjoy and embrace the idea of human augmentation, and your liver is kind of feeling, well, you shouldn't have took them 3 Tylenols to get rid of that headache and drank a whole handle of vodka. That's what's called liver failure under normal circumstances. But hold on one second. What's your log in and slide the slider up. Okay, glutathione. Okay, give me some. Okay, boom. These can be wirelessly stimulated. I believe that the doink, doink, doinks was about getting more relay nodes inside your behind so that the multiple input, multiple output MIMO situation configuration can get the broadband, can get the dial up closer to broadband in terms of its delay, its latency, and its bandwidth in general. So if I'm saying a lot, trust me, I ain't saying as much as she is. I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to put it in the blender and whip it on down. Put the forearm into it and whip it. With the wrist, put the flick of the wrist in the right situations so y'all can listen to Chris and Sabrina at the same time. Anywho.
Now, what could be more disrespectful?
Okay.
These are jobs. You're telling people it's aliens.
If y'all ask me, do aliens exist? I'm going to first ask you to define the term alien, right? According to the U.S. Constitution, according to Hollywood, according to Hanna-Barbera, who's defining aliens, okay? Because as far as I could tell, there most likely is a class of watchers and or beings that kind of run things behind the scenes. But between that and like the emoji on my phone, I'm pretty sure it's all government. Now, I can't say all government because I do believe that what they call EB, something by extra dimensional biological entities. Is that what the acronym is? All y'all space people, y'all know what I'm talking about. Extra dimensional biological entities, EBEs. Those exist. Is it an alien? I mean, it looked like the emoji. Is it from a galaxy far, far away? No, it's from a military base not that far away. But you see what I'm saying? Do aliens exist? Is such a loaded question because it's got all this connotation behind it. Like, well, is this according to what we're told about the conventional, trajectory and travel of aliens and extraterrestrials, or exist in a general sense? Or are we lumping gargoyles and griffins and kind of things that there is evidence for, and with dinosaurs and all this other stuff that there's no evidence? Like, define aliens. Okay. All I know is that the subject, like if you took 100 anomalies that were considered alien, I bet 95 or 99 of them would be just government calling it alien, because that's a perfect scapegoat. That's a perfect way. They just be like, you don't want to look into this. It was a spiritual experience. Forget memory erase button, Men in Black flashy thingy. It was Jesus. It was Yoda. It was whoever. It just can't be that station chief and that military clearance, because he's supposed to be working with you. He's supposed to be on your side, but like he's taking advantage of you. It's got to. You see what I'm saying? So they psychologically place aliens in this supernatural category, and then that completely writes off I call it the clandestine layer. That's the buffer between what we definitely know goes on in the military. Then there's the like, hey, like I'm in the military, but I can't really talk about what I did layer. And then there's the you don't even know who I am or what division I work for, and I don't talk about it layer. I'm talking about them, and and up. This is what's really happening, y'all. I don't know what to tell you. God, dog, let Sabrina do it.
Now, what could be more disrespectful?
You telling everybody it's jobs rather, and y'all telling people it's aliens. It's like people going log in, locate, okay, boop, and change out this. And it's not people. It's mostly AI and machine learning systems. But individuals can override the AI for a second and literally wirelessly fly through your whole duodenum like a magic school bus ride. And y'all over here talking, it's a mothership. It's a mothership. New Jersey, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a mothership. I'm gonna say mothership, and I'm gonna see how many people buy it. No, don't laugh. Okay, they're about to record. Okay, here we go. Dum 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 dum. Yes, an alien mothership has just landed off the coast of New Jersey. Okay, never mind. We control basically the sky and everything you see in it, and the weather, and you. Never mind. It's an alien mothership. That's probably what it is. You see what I'm saying? There's so much scapegoating going to that and away from the technology that they just don't want you to tell you is a little less extraterrestrial and crazy and a little bit more inherent to your own body's physiology that's being presently hijacked. Okay?
Straight from Giordano, of course. These are jobs. You're telling people it's aliens. Now, what could be more disrespectful? The constellation explanations. Every time your people lied to you, I was here with Non-Vaxxer to try to help set it right. And he was the one that went out and got ICANN talks, smart environmental monitoring with your low power, NNI nanotube, how nanotechnology can help us, National Institute of Health nano videocast, stem cells and nanotechnology. I mean, nanoparticles, singularity net, bridging biological and artificial trust systems.
These are all videos on these thumbnails.
Talks, nanomedicine via sans exodus and brain organoid maps.
Right. A bunch of words y'all never heard. Why? Because some people are actually going through and doing the homework on how this works. And some of y'all just listening to Trump. I'm telling y'all, listening to these politicians is going to get you killed at the end of the day. It's going to have you and your family short. That's slang for short. Coming up short. Pulling up short. You're going to be short. Okay? Because they're not equipping you for knowing what's coming, how to understand it, much less mitigate it, fight it, and circumnavigate it. And on top of all that, they're introducing applications that actually work in this system specifically. See, man? You see what I'm saying? This, again, I'm not trying to throw shade on Trump specifically. This is not about Trump or Kamala or Biden or Obama or any of the politicians. I have complete love for anybody who's voted or who's participated in the voting system. I understand it's been rigged since 1871 and beyond. That's pushing 154 years now. But I got love for you. It don't matter. I just need you to come on up to speed with the rest of us and listen to what Ms. Wallace is explaining based on her expertise and a handful of others who have kind of helped spearhead the collection of this work about where we really are in the grand scheme of things as far as time and technology is concerned.
June 24th, 2024, It's always for the paraplegics, folks. That's never going to change.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we only do it to help people. Well, you got a shitty track record then, because we've got more disabled people now than ever before. Good job. The NNI MIT nanotube expanding the possibilities the possibilities of quantum dots, because I say quantum dot, and that's the only thing you know. Professor Achilles, IEEE 6G Summit, nanotubes assemble themselves at Rice University since 2016.
We've seen the Rice University, I've seen it, of the nanotubes assembling themselves, but he talked about Professor Ian Achilles is his name.
Dots, because I say quantum dot, and that's the
I'm
only thing
gonna play
you
that
know.
section again so I can hear
Professor
it.
Achilles, IEEE 6G Summit.
Professor Achilles at the IEEE 6G Summit. Now, what is the 6G Summit? Well, it's the summit where they talked about the technologies and baselines for the rollout that would be the next generation after 5G. Now, a lot of y'all are just catching on to the idea that 5G wireless might have had something else going on other than just giving you faster internet. Huh? Okay. 6G, 7G, and beyond relies on the same microwave. Well, let me back up. It's not just microwave radiation. It's definitely radio frequency and microwave, millimeter wave, which is also just in the microwave category. And it goes pretty far up the gigahertz spectrum and on up into the terahertz spectrum. Remember, we talked about this before. Hertz, right? The name given to a measure of energy over time via a sine wave. Hertz, right? Big waves. Kilohertz, slightly less big wave, but kilohertz waves can still go as far as most of these AM radio stations. Pretty doggone far. Megahertz, that's your wireless, phones and, all this stuff. Gigahertz, that's billions of hertz, right? Hertz, kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz, terahertz. These are microscopically short wavelengths that work for a certain type of communication that do a great job of staying outside of the frequency spectrum of all the other communication protocols. So it happens to work great in a mesh network because the signals don't overlap. The 2.4 radio frequency, that's saturated. Every baby monitor and Fitbit and Wi-Fi and TalkBoy and your walkie-talkies from when you was a kid, all of that's 2.4 gigahertz in the general range, including Wi-Fi. But get up into them gigahertz and them terahertz, and ain't much going on up there. And that's because it was being reserved for the myriad of data touch points that would be coalescing in this internet of bodies. So, I see a couple questions. I don't have time to get to them right now, but I see this one. So what are they going to be doing to the center of the earth with these microwaves? Your guess is as good as mine, Moon Daddy 61. What I know is that in order to do what they do, they need to affect an aspect of the Earth's resting frequency, otherwise known as the Schumann resonance. They need to decouple it for a second in a location, and that decoupling allows for a magnetic adjustment to happen within it that shouldn't happen. I believe that coupling exists to protect you and your biofield, but it's being basically hacked. And I believe that we're seeing a new level of deception come forward and promise to cure all the things that the previous industry did not cure. Like cancer is a great example. But it's a slippery slope because what you're accepting is not really mRNA. I mean, it might be mRNA, but mRNA is probably just adding tons of the extra Lego blocks that Professor Achilles mentions, those very type of blocks specific from his work. And those meta materials are being adjusted externally and built internally over time. And it's up to the cardiologists and the embalmers to figure out what the heck is going on, because you ain't never seen nothing like this in your whole career, have you? Right. And by the time people start having a conversation about it and doing some studies, they're another 5-10 years rolled out with this system that they just hoping none of y'all really come up to speed on so that they can continue the rollout. Hello? If enough people say no, then it's not going to work.
Nanotubes assemble themselves at Rice University since 2016.
Oh, I never did finish my thought on what she was mentioning about Achilles. So this is a gentleman who's done a lot of work on what I call, like, the easiest way to understand them is like nano Lego blocks. You know, if you got a block, I don't have my kids' toys up here. If you have a box of Legos, it's only like 8-10 different Lego shapes, like Tetris, right? Play the whole game of Tetris, and this is what, like, the long bar, the T bar, the S bar, the box, the like L bar. It's like not that many different shapes, right? And you can form every kind of complete shape with one of these 6 basic elements. That's essentially a very, 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 very oversimplified concept of metamaterials that take these aerosolized, nanoscopic, injectable, ingestible Lego blocks and place them literally everywhere throughout the human biome so that they can magnetically, externally, ferromagnetically be manipulated, stimulated, and adjusted into formation. And just hope it don't like happen too quick and develop a clot where some plaque and arteriosclerosis was already building up. You see what I mean? So yes, and yes, they self-assemble. Somebody asked me, what about Mars? You know what I think Mars is? Mars is an app. I'm not mad at you, honestly. I think it's a great question. But Mars, at this point, is a software platform and a network. It's like, I honestly think that they have these isolated, separate networks that are centralized over the ARPANET and at CERN or wherever the internet actually centralizes through, but they're disconnected from one another at the public layer, because the idea is that this World Wide Web is just for this world. If you want to go to the Mars world, that's a separate world over there. And all you have to do is have the human upgrade 2.0. I mean, you know, be up to date on your medical body area, medical prophylactics, right? Just so you don't give, COVID to nobody on Mars. You see how that works? And then before you know it, Ray Kurzweil's dystopian dream and Elon Musk's pretty much equivalent dystopian dream of uploading your neural cortex to the cloud is already a thing, yo. I think it was a thing when they said it was a thing. If you ask me if Elon's cortex is already in the cloud, that might have been what he was doing during that prayer. Y'all saw him. Bow your heads, let's pray. Mothership, please recharge my neurons. Your servant Elon is doing my tasks. You see what I'm saying? Y'all saw him. He's just like going like this during the night. I don't know what that was about. He might have just been like stretching, trying not to faint. He also could have been software updating from the Starlink that was right up. I don't know. I just know I don't trust it. That's all I know.
Structured materials for your.
All right, getting back to it. What she's doing, by the way, in this particular video is she's going through the channel of an individual on Rumble who is not her. This particular guy on Rumble, his channel is Non-Vaxxer420. I've interacted with him before. He's a nice guy. He does a great job of distilling Sabrina's work down and providing a lot of the technical manuals and technical support so that y'all can start to like mount the horse of understanding this stuff yourself. Because I love explaining this, but I definitely get a lot of questions like, what can we do about it? Well, it's a great question. Please don't feel bad for asking. I'll be asking myself the same question. I'll be like, yo, Sabrina, what can we do about it though? Right? Biofield practice, understanding what's really going on in your environment so that you can learn mitigation strategies, making yourself healthier and generally less available to their mesh networking, moving, outside of a node of complete availability to a node of slightly less availability. All these are different things that can help reduce your availability to the greater node of the Internet of Bodies. And more than anything, intention. Setting your intention and your will that says, no, absolutely not. You are not allowed in my body. I reject that. That goes a long way too. Gratitude, thankfulness, all these are like electronic frequency sections, if you will, that are high vibe. They're a little higher on the chart in terms of the physical numerical frequency than like shame and greed and lust and anger, and all these things are very low vibe. And so yeah, it sounds all woo 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 woo-y, but like high vibe and low vibe is literally high vibration and low vibration because it's literally physically measurable with instruments and numbers. Linen has a higher vibration than silk or rayon or spandex, right? Some of these synthetic materials are like 4 or 5 or 10 on the vibrational chart, whereas cotton and linen and wool are in the thousands, 4,000, right? So these things have resting frequencies. Your body has a similar resting frequency. The earth has a resting frequency. All of it's under assault, if you ask me. All of it. I'm gonna let Sabrina tell you.
Nanotubes assemble themselves at Rice University since 2016. Structured materials for your meta-optics, because we're heading into that hardcore. IEEE 5G, 6G innovation test.
Structured materials for your meta-optics. Most of y'all can't even tell if what y'all looking at is real on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, now that it's not banned. Most of y'all can't even tell if what y'all looking at is real these days. I've been in this whole back and forth all week with this one channel I don't even follow, because I happened to comment on this one video about a robotics company that made a robot and showcased it, but they didn't showcase a real robot. It was CG. And I would know that it's CG because it's the type of work that I technically do. And I'm going, yeah, this is cool, and I'm sure they got real robots, but this ain't it. And the number of mind control shills, like literal trolls, like, you don't know what you're talking about. They have real robots. Yeah, no, I bet they do, but like, this isn't it. This is a CG. Well, how do you know? It's because it's what I do. Like, I don't know what I can tell you about ambient occlusion. We can get into talking about motion blur. I can get into talking about the compositing and some of the artifacting around it. You're not gonna believe it if you don't want to believe it. Most of y'all can't even tell if y'all looking at something real now online. Never mind what she talking about. The ability to fake that funk in real life. IRL.
Sped 2023.
Rewinding, just so y'all get the full context.
Summit. Nanotubes assemble themselves at Rice University since 2016. Structured materials for your meta-optics, because we're heading into that hardcore. IEEE 5G, 6G innovation test bed 2023. Brain monitoring and manipulation, lawneuro.org. It's against the law! Not when the governments own you like chattel and they told you point blank in 2020 if you knew where to look. We're augmenting humans by delivering RNA and DNA shots for a biocyber interface for human augmentation.
Pump the brakes! If she was a Pentecostal preacher, I would stand up with my handkerchief and I'd be like, preach on, sisters. What you say? Say it now. One more time. If you know where to look when they told you in 2020.
The governments own you like chattel and they told you point blank in 2020 if you knew where to look. We're augmenting humans by delivering RNA and DNA shots for a biocyber interface for human augmentation.
We're augmenting. Oh, I'm going to rewind it just so y'all can catch it again.
Chattel and they told you.
Chattel, right? They consider you their chattel. Do you realize that human insurance bonds and prison bonds and things where humans are physically treated like cattle is called chattel paper? Chattel paper. Commercial paper? Chattel paper. The financial term for the type of paper that your value and your bond is your blood, literally the existence of a securitized aspect of your living body is called chattel paper. They treat you like chattel. They already have, for the most part, what people consider legal title over your estate. What is an estate? Well, law dictionaries define an estate as the lifetime labor value of an individual. That's right. How much money is you going to make the bank over the course of your whole life? That is the definition of your estate. So if your estate, if some part of the state has legal title over your estate, that's not good because they legally get to say what you can and can't do. Now, you can break them rules. You can reverse this legal condition. But for many people in the present, this is so. However, equitable title. This is a frontier that it does not seem that they have fully crossed, but I think we're right on the precipice of them gaining both legal and equitable title. What is equitable title, you might ask? Well, that's a physical vested interest in the asset that's associated with your estate. That is your physical body. That is, they have some sort of genetic or financial incentive in an outcome of a certain type happening to your body. And the only way they would have gotten that is if you bequeath that unto them with a signature, because you had cancer and it came from that thing that they told you to get, but now this other thing that they telling you to get is going to reverse it in 2 days. So that's 2 signatures now, the first one and the second one. Because you best believe they're going to make you sign, right? It's not going to just be like, oh, you want to be cured? Okay, just step right up. Don't sign anything. No. You about to be offered the carrot of carrots, the dangle of dangles, the dingle of dangles. No dingleberries, all jangle. You about to be offered, all of us, this golden age of the ideal body, the ideal health. It just might come at a equitable title loss, meaning you lose autonomy over your body. Well, I don't want you out of my body anymore. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We've made an investment, and as we consider you already legally chattel, and now you're equitably part of our bottom line. And we have, what was that patent or that congressional law that they updated in 2013 about if mRNA or any sort of chimeric adjustments to the human genome in an individual have been made by any one of these types of gene therapies, this can all put you in a classification to be licensed by the very patent holder of the technology that's coursing through your genetics. Oh, but it's going to stay in the deltoid. Oh, don't look at the biodistribution study. We'll give it to you in 75 years. Why? So you could already be a computer for 74 years by the time we figure out what's going on? They want equitable title, and the only way they're going to get it is if you give it to them. And the only way you're going to give it to them, any sane person, is if you're, I like the biohack, and I actually want a human augment. Okay, go right ahead. Try to unaugment, you won't be able to, and you definitely dealing with some 1.0, so there's going to be glitches and several patches before they get it right. If you don't want that, you don't have to take it. You just have to know that it's coming down the pike at 200 miles an hour with some top spin on it, like a screwball, like going like this, as it barrels towards your decision-making space. So, back to the video.
You like chattel, and they told you point blank in 2020 if you knew where to look.
Pay close attention. They told you point blank in 2020 if you knew where to look.
We're augmenting humans by delivering RNA and DNA shots for a biocyber interface for human augmentation. We don't want ethicists or public opinions. We are going to do this. So they did. And that's why here on the channel, we're trying to educate as best we can. You're not turning it off. You are literally not going to be able to turn it off because they've been busy with this since the 30s. You said nothing.
That's 95 years now. So they are not
using towers. They're not using even their phase array.
They're not using towers. I need y'all to understand that. The build out for the towers was not specifically to jack you in. It was to set up the future generations and the entire ubiquitous computing model where cars and streetlights and nano satellites and bigger satelloons and all kinds of different integrated systems are dealing both on ground and in the air, and to give you some like faster internet too. But it's not, they don't require the nanotechnology for the body integration. It helps, it goes faster, but optogenetics is a really big aspect of it. This whole concept of visual light communication. The fact that your screen flickers at a specific rate, the fact that the International Standards Organization had to define what rate the power cycle comes in your house at. Never mind the light bulbs. All of this is playing into their scalar network, meaning they're scaling across multiple technologies, different things that are infiltrating your body sovereignty for use in ways that your body's not requesting. Your body wakes up every day and says, I gotta digest, I need to do a couple farts, a couple pees, maybe a good poo, and eat a couple meals, get some sleep, drink some water, have some salt and electrolytes. Like basic daily functions, right? It's not required by default to process Amazon Web Service products. But yet, the very individual president who's really trying to make that a mainstream thing is standing up there with the Amazon Web Services guy right next to him. And like, nobody just sees that this is like a thing that they rolling out already. It's already live, y'all. It's just not scale. It's not at scale. But it might be, and it might be scaling up quicker than you realize. So I'll link the specific video. I think it was I forgot the name of the original video. This is not the whole video. This is only the last 15 or so minutes from a longer video. But yeah, we got to get back into it.
They're using nodes on the network. That would be your body.
Ooh, they're using nodes on the network. That would be your body.
The 30s, you said nothing. So they are not using towers. They're not using even their phase array. They're using nodes on the network. That would be your body. Your body is the network. You want to turn off the signal that they're using to cause a stroke in your husband? Turn off your DNA.
Ooh.
Now, if I was a group of people that damn well knew life extension technology is for not the many, only the few, boy, I'd be lying like they have been. And I'd be spending a lot of money paying them to do it, lying to them hand over fist, telling them any bullshit they're willing to believe. So they get in their smart city or they just sit there and do nothing. That's called pacification and control. Get on your knees, stare at the wall, pray to Jesus, we're busy. Going to work.
You see what I'm saying? So I have a whole giant space in my heart for my Christians and my faith-based folks, Orthodox Christian, Reform, whatever. I just know that a tremendous amount of history and context has been withheld, and a very effective warfare strategy to get a good chunk of the base of, otherwise conservative people that would otherwise definitely lock arms and bear arms and lock arms and bear arms and bear arms with some grizzly bear arms to put their feet down and dig their heels in against what's happening. But the culture of that particular religion has it such where most Christians I know aren't interested in figuring out what's happening. They're just ready to go. They've been promised, whether they believe in pre, post, or mid-tribulation rapture, that they will be gone before things get bad. Now, nowhere in the Bible does it say, before things get bad in America, things get bad for the rest of the world. It doesn't say that. It just says, God's judgment is going to come to the church, and then God's judgment is going to come to the nations. That's really what all it says, really. And, America has this egocentric thing going on, ethnocentricity, where you really think y'all the only nation on earth. Like, America could get wiped off the map, and the whole rest of the earth could keep going, and God's promises could still be. But, y'all didn't do nothing to stop the wiping off the map because y'all was just convinced that when America crumbles, that's the end of the world. That's when God equates his prophecies, even though they were all given to nations in the Middle East and people from not here. You see what I'm saying? But, she brings up a great point. Sit at home, do nothing, pray, expect the rapture. Just don't ask us what we're doing because we're over here working jobs. These jobs are building out what people later find is just not the better option for their health and well-being. We'll leave it at that just to be nice. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to stake your Jesus or tell you that what you're reading ain't true. I'm just trying to say, let's add some context to it because I'm pretty sure they're using that as a stall strategy.
Because when they run out of flesh, so they get in their smart city or they just sit there and do nothing. That's called pacification and control.
Pacification and control.
Get on your knees, stare at the wall, pray to Jesus, we're busy. Going to work. Because when they run out of flesh and clean blood, meaning non-vaccinated, and they're really going to start coming for people, you bet. And that's why a lot of your biblical people, they're like, nah, it's fine. I don't even want to know. I'll be over here with Jesus. Yeah. But those same biblical people, so far for me, they don't have a problem with me. It's those of you that are fraudulent that have a problem with me. Because you don't want to admit God made the body perfectly.
Bingo.
And I do. I don't want people to be afraid. You do.
You don't want to admit God made the body perfectly. And I do. You want people to be afraid, and I don't. So I know I have a lot of people that come to me like, Chris, this is kind of scary, bro. What do I do? I understand it's scary. I'm not trying to get you to be irrational over it. I'm simply trying to illustrate that it's not my aim to scare you. I don't come at you with no like, warning, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be crazy. There's a biofield and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't say that. I come at it with the understanding like, listen, people are smart. Y'all just don't know what y'all don't know. And I didn't know what I didn't know. Okay, so I learned a couple things. And now I'm trying to help share a couple things because the person I learned it from is a bit technical. And that's okay. Sometimes I can be a bit technical. People tell me that all the time. I've just gotten a little bit better at knowing my audience. And in this case, my audience needs or requests of me to help bring it down from the PhD down just to the PH. Take the PH down from the D all the way down. I don't know where I'm going with this. They just want me to bring it down to the like community college level, not the like MIT level. So let's do that. I'm happy to do that. But her point here.
It's obvious. Your behavior in the last you that are fraudulent, that have a problem.
She says the Christians ain't got no problem with her. It's all the liars and the grifters and the people who are benefiting from having a remote that they can control their wife or husband or their child or significant other, their slave, honestly, around with. This is a thing. Y'all seen Stepford Wives? Y'all seen Westworld? That's a thing. Somebody said, why am I waiting to go live so late? Because I got stuff going on in the world. Oh, it took me a minute. I was working on this. I had other stuff. I had to go run some errands for my wife at the last minute. So I had plans to go live much earlier. And then all this stuff came up. And that's the thing about my social media, y'all. I can't make it a second job. I already got a job. I already got deadlines. I can't stress myself out by having additional deadlines. I said, I'm going to go live later because I said I'm going to do it at some point later. I don't know when. I can't tell you when. And when I say a number, I'll never make it on time. And it makes me stressed. I can't do it. So I just have to live my life the more namaste way.
Problem with me. Because you don't want to admit God made the body perfectly.
That's that part, though.
I don't want people to be afraid. You do. That's obvious. Your behavior in the last 3 years makes this crystal clear to me and to anybody else with eyes to see and ears to hear. Because it's, I mean, you come to Non-Vaxxer's channel, you ain't got to spend more than, I'd say, 2 hours just kind of clicking through it all this, going, oh my, wow. And it's direct. Aerospace Nation DoD policy paper, quantum advantage. Aerospace Nation DoD eyes in the sky.
These are all papers on the channel that anybody can go read.
Understand that everything I'm talking about got documentation.
Everything.
And I don't mean conspiracy blogs and wacky people with I'm a prophet and oh I know. We don't have that. We have electronic warfare. We have molecular communication. We have realizing a high compact particulate matter sensor with a micro electromechanical system based resonant membrane. Your MEMS.
Your MEMS.
The way they monitor and manipulate the atmosphere. That's what you have here. IEEE sensors with enhanced fluorescence, and then your IEEE Summer School on Nanotechnology. 2024 Part 1. So if I was a serious adult, and I'm looking to protect my family from the new electronic and electromagnetic warfare, I would be here. And I would no longer follow or tolerate the grifters and liars like Vandersteel, your J6 crew. They know better. Do you notice they all just started screaming Smart City at the same time?
Hello, I didn't even catch that until she said it. Do you notice they all just start screaming Smart City at the same time? This smart agenda's been around, but out of nowhere, it's like, you know, Lahaina catches fire and everybody just, oh, Smart City, Smart City, Smart City. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, but like, My, was that right on cue? It's like, I don't mean the letter Q, I mean CUE. But I'm like, is it me? Or is it like, it just feels all manufactured? I noticed it when I'm scrolling and all I see is vaccine related exposés on my page. And I'm going, wow, okay. The very thing you literally couldn't even say the word for. Now it's like every single post is just some sort of like expose on what's problematic with this conventional pharmaceutical system. When I see that, my wisdom and discernment says, all right, got it. That's being allowed out at the moment. That is an actual permissible discussion. Why? That's strange. Why? Well, it turns out that if you're riding in off of this wireless, take a pill like a Wi-Fi pill. I mean, that's what they're kind of nicknamed. It's not technically Wi-Fi, I don't think, but that's not the point. It's like you're taking wirelessly communicable nanotechnology, and it's doing a medical function in you. Then you hear about this whole concept of the medical body area network, a whole subset of what they're working on, specifically for the hospital records AI. Then you have Trump come out here and give you some second grade explanation about, here I am, I'm the president, everybody voted for me. And my first press conference, I'm gonna just look down at a piece of paper the entire time, never even bother looking back up at the camera and just read what clearly I didn't write. I mean, I watched the press conference. Larry Ellison hops up there. Apparently he doesn't do this that often, and he did all right. He was just fine, just talking like normal. I mean, we're going to be able to wirelessly track everyone, everywhere, all the time. And that's not scary coming from basically the Oval Office or whatever. But he said it, and he wasn't looking at a piece of paper to do it. I'm like, is this guy even alive right now? He's just reading. Like, who wrote this that he just has to read? Like, what are we even talking about? Oh, yeah, we'll know exactly how healthy or sick you are because we'll be able to track every cell in your body in real time. Yeah, that's what they built. That's exactly what they've been building this whole time. Surprise! They lied. Oh, where's my song? That don't work. They lie about everything. They lie about everything. They're the mainstream media, baby. They lie about everything. They lie about everything. They're the president in the Oval Office today. Y'all get it? They lie. Okay? So I'm gonna let Sabrina finish, and she finishes by sharing this video. And this is a marketing video relating to something that. What is the video of the lady? Her name is Sabrina Wallace. I'll paste the link below. It's on her Synergy channel on Odysee. I forgot the specific episode this is from because this is an excerpt from a larger episode, but I will get that for you and I'll make sure to link that. She goes over at the tail end this video that's essentially a marketing piece of marketing for this. I don't know if it's an educational series or a company. I'm not entirely sure whose video it is, but it's essentially a great model for what I believe our children are being told and taught as far as the state of the world. And it's kind of grim. It's like, hey, look, your parents screwed it up, and all you got to do, all you can do is upload your neural cortex to the cloud as the only upshot you have in life. And look, you'll be smarter and better than they ever were. And y'all know how gullible and vulnerable some of these kids was. Half of us is gullible and vulnerable, and we was just kids not that long ago. So with that, I'm just going to quit talking. I'm going to let Sabrina do the rest of the talking.
Do you know how many hundreds of people on our channel tried to get them to talk about this for 2 years? The Smart City Agenda 2030, okay? And what I'm going to close with here on the Non-Vaxxer channel is a cartoon. So you understand that the youth that are going to school, they're being told the world's already screwed. Mm-hmm. Your only chance of survival is to upload to the cloud. So you're going to need to augment to get a job. and
what
then
they're
you're
gonna
going to
say.
help us upload people to the cloud.
And then you're going to help us upload
Okay?
people to the cloud.
And I'm really tired of hearing these excuses that are literally theoretical rather than what we've really been doing with the technical since I was born in 1979. You will not talk about your R&D. You won't talk about where you got all this technology. You won't admit to people what a Mac ID is. And your
Media
doctors
access
are as
control?
fraudulent about human anatomy as the day is long. Your physicists are just as bad. They care more about airplanes and little green men from Mars than they do about the plasma states of our atmosphere. And you've got all our children believing that everyone over 30 is a fucking idiot who screwed up the planet. That's the Mao Revolution of the United States. They have
Ooh, that's the Mao Revolution of the United States. That is the Mao Revolution of the United States of America. Okay?
multi-vector attack systems ready to go.
Multi-vector attack systems. Don't let it sound like a line from the what's your vector, Victor, from Airplane. A vector, an entry point. Multi-vector, multi-entry point attack systems. Light-based assault. Biofield-based assault. Radio frequency-based assault. Microwave-based assault. Then you got the topicals, the wearables, all the different assaults. Then you got the food and the food and drug and the EPA. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back to that part because I don't think y'all heard it.
Planes and little green men from Mars than they do about the plasma states of our atmosphere. And you've got all our children believing that everyone over 30 is a fucking idiot who screwed up the planet. That's the Mao Revolution of the United States. They have multi-vector attack systems ready to go. So everybody who's got their face jammed up the inauguration, they're going to be caught completely off guard. I don't think they care because they think they're going to live forever. You get it yet? If you're in on the life technology system of siphoning neurons out of your own DNA that's closest to you, well, you live forever and jump into a new body. That's been going on since the 1800s.
That's been going on since the 1800s? That's right. If you're cool with siphoning DNA from neurons or neurons from DNA, siphoning biological cellular components of you and then duplicating it elsewhere, laboratory in silico in situ, in vivo, all of the Latin words that don't nobody really know what they mean, but that's what they be talking about, then you can go on and live forever because you're part of the club. I believe your soul I don't know what I believe about your soul, your consciousness, or your spirit, but something tells me that when you engage with their system for life extension technology, that is your hell. It's like that Black Mirror episode, San Junipero. Y'all remember the one? It was like, I don't know, second or third season. And the girl goes to the funeral home, and then she wants to live in the 80s and roller skate world, and she falls in love with this other weird girl in the nursing home, but then you find out like this just two old ladies in the nursing home, and they're really just both on a server. Yeah, it's that. It's literally that. I'm telling you, Black Mirror was showing it to you at the time. That was like 7 years ago. San Junipero, that's the name of the episode. That's what they talk. That you going? What's it say? People are gonna want to die, but death will escape them. Like they will want to die, but not be able to. That's a strange prophecy, y'all. And I can see it lining right on up. Ooh, lining right on up. I'm gonna rewind this last part one more time.
If you're in on the...
She said, so all them people stuck with they head up the inauguration's butt are going to be caught slipping. That's what I'm talking about. Well, look at what Melania's wearing. Well, this gay pastor said something and he looked weird at Trump. Well, Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible. Well, look at what Elon Musk was doing. Who was that? Well, why is Barron Trump so tall and everybody else ain't this tall? All these things, none of that matters. None of it. A lick. Okay, that's like asking why SpongeBob and Squidward wasn't sitting next to, Patty or Sandy or whatever. I said Patty or Sandy, thinking Sandy Patty. Mixing my genres here. Patty, underwater, the little fishbowl on her head. Sorry, Sandy, rather. Oh my gosh. Now I'm confused. We just gonna go back to the show because she's making the point that I'm trying to bring home. And that point simply is, y'all not like, if y'all are concerned with executive orders and with what Donald Trump is like putting out for, plans and protocols about returning to health, understand, I don't think he's trying to return anybody to anything. He's already upsetting half of the supporters the second day in, y'all. This dude has an agenda he was primed and groomed to execute, and he's moving forward with that pretty much on pace. Operation Warp Speed was his thing. I've said this before, but let's not forget that Warp Speed is an Alien TV show reference. Y'all want to talk about aliens? It's from Star Trek. Okay, they don't name these things. These topics don't come up all haphazardly, willy-nilly at all in any regard or any context, because everything is calculated. I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't take nothing I say away from this, just take my word for it. They don't be doing stuff by accident. Y'all be doing stuff by accident. They don't be doing things by accident. Okay? So when she says,
who screwed up the planet. That's the modern revolution.
all of the kids think that all of the adults have already screwed up the planet. That's the Mao revolution playing out in America. She's right. If you've never looked into Mao Zedong and what his whole like model for subverting the children away from their parents was, now's about the time y'all start looking at it, because it's already live in America. Y'all was like, oh, China, we should ban TikTok from China. Oh, it was so corny watching Tim Pool like the other day. I'm like, oh, Lord, shut him up. This man don't know nothing about what he don't know about. He's so far behind the starting line with it. And I don't even think in his case he's gatekeeping. I think they just keep him that egotistical and uninformed so that they don't have to actually be in on the lie. They can just be totally not that informed and helping all the rest of y'all uninformed basic people walk right off a cliff with his uninformed beanie wearing all the time, having ass. And none of y'all know the difference in what she's talking about and what, Trump and Ellen, it's all, nobody knows. And it's because y'all looking to too many other people to teach y'all. This lady points you straight to tech metrics, PDFs, white papers, and it's up to you to then go and like, okay, Department of Defense warfare doctrine. Okay, network-centric warfare. Like, what is that? Okay, wow. They were saying in 2009 that this is what they're going to... It was like, I had to take the time to read this stuff. What people have been primed to do is hope that Donald Trump will just fix it for you. And he's setting you up. He's not here to fix anything. And please don't take me as saying that to be to have some sort of like binary jump that, Kamala would have done any better. No. Yeah, they worry about Snoop instead of Sabrina. Exactly. Snoop Dogg, like, this dude ain't put out nary a hit. What was his last hit? California Girls with Katy Perry, like 13 years ago. He put out a whole gospel album. He was Snoop Lion. Y'all forgot about that, right? Then he was like, okay, yeah, I want to smoke and do what I got to do. I'm not going to be a gospel rat. I did one song with Rance Allen, and then that's it. It's so corny. Y'all paying attention to the wrong people. So I'm gonna wrap it up with her.
Enemy as the day is long. Your
Sabrina is the lady talking.
And your doctors are as fraudulent about human anatomy as the day is long. Your physicists are just as bad. They care more about airplanes and little green men from Mars than they do about the plasma states of our atmosphere. And you've got all our children believing that everyone over 30 is a fucking idiot who screwed up the planet. That's the Mao revolution of the United States. They have multi-vector attack systems ready to go. So everybody who's got their face jammed up the inauguration, they're going to be caught completely off guard. I don't think they care because they think they're going to live forever. You get it yet? If you're in on the life technology system of siphoning neurons out of your own DNA that's closest to you, well, you live forever and jump into a new body. That's been going on since the 1800s.
Now listen to this commercial because you're going to hear propaganda at its finest. But the problem is your kid is also hearing the same propaganda, but it's not on television. It's in the classroom. It's in like high schools and colleges all around the world.
Throughout history, humans have found innovative ways to make their world a better place. At BioBuilder, we believe that the next big stage of human innovation begins with synthetic biology.
Okay, class. Synthetic biology is where scientists can modify an organism, such as yeast or bacteria, and allow them to gain different characteristics. This may sound like science fiction. However, in practice, it is similar to how breweries have used yeast to produce their products for thousands of years. Modern synthetic biology is even more versatile, as we can reprogram an organism to do a variety of new things.
Showing basically
including
CRISPR
breaking down
Cas.
polluting plastics. But it doesn't stop there.
Like breaking down plastics. Oh yeah, we could break down a human body or plastic. Let's just mention plastic though.
Synthetic biology can be used in many fields, such as developing personalized medicines,
Developing personalized medicines. What did Larry Ellison say? Oh, we can take a sample of your DNA and in 48 hours we could have a personalized healthcare solution plan for you. Yeah, not addressing the root cause of the thing, meaning whatever caused it will probably just continue to cause a problem. Completely unproven technology. I thought we learned our lesson with that, but apparently we haven't. And I don't think they're going to be using no pill anyway. I think it's all just like, okay, give us the permission slip and here's a sugar pill and we're going to wirelessly, do what we got to do and tell you it was the pill. Because we're not ready to tell you it was wireless yet. You got to wait for a couple more years till we soft pedal that out.
Organisms to create biofuels and even modifying organisms.
Bryce said, I'm sorry, I'm going to rewind it because Bryce said a lot of people don't even know what CRISPR-Cas9 is. So what they were showing in this last section, it's in the one right before this. Maybe you can kind of see this little excavator thing taking this part of the DNA molecule and fusing it, making an incision, a cut in the DNA strand, and then introducing modified DNA and then fusing the cut pieces together. That is essentially the baseline for the CRISPR-Cas9 protocol. CRISPR is the company, Cas9 is the protocol, and it is gene editing at the end of the day. It's DNA editing. Yeah, some people say, oh, there's like kind of like a CRISPR technology in this whole, and doink, doink, doink. They're like, no, you can't say that. It's not CRISPR. It's just like CRISPR. I mean, yes, it does the exact same thing and maybe more, but it's not by CRISPR. It's by the NIH and the DOD. I mean, yes, I know we let Moderna produce it and BioNTech and Pfizer. They put some juices and some adjuvant together, and then we stuck the active ingredient in there. But we just gonna blame Fauci. None of y'all gonna look into it. Please don't talk to Robert Malone or anybody about how mRNA really works. And even though it's not CRISPR, we just gonna show y'all a cartoon that's the same, basically identical one that's on the CRISPR commercial, and y'all can put the math together that CRISPR is just a company that does this process, and several other companies can do it too. Cas9, CAS9, just CAS. But yes.
Variety of new things, including the breaking down of polluting plastics.
The breaking down of polluting plastics and humans.
Biology can be used in many fields, such as developing personalized medicines, designing organisms to create biofuels, and even modifying organisms to create high-end fabrics.
This is why synthetic biology is so important to us. BioBuilder aims to educate today's students through hands-on workshops and apprenticeships to develop tomorrow's innovators, ready to tackle the world's problems with synthetic biology.
Synthetic biology.
By inspiring today's generation, we can equip the next generation to do the same.
So corny, synthetic biology. It's all like, this is music.
Brought to you by your
C major
single dad in
universe.
Canada,
Corny.
who was told pound sand.
Inspiring tomorrow's innovators today, right? Synthetic biology, because like personalized medicine, we could even like modify molecules to make biofuels. We could either make super high-end fabrics. High-end fabrics from modified. Oh, you mean like graphene lattices or hydrogel. I mean hydrogel. I mean cotton. I mean linen. Linen, that's a high-end fabric. It's great. It's got high frequency. Or you're gonna make synthetic linen and tell me that's better than real linen? Oh, you're gonna make synthetic wool and tell me that's better. Synthetic cotton, that's supposed to be better, right? They gave y'all one real use case and a bunch of bull crap next to it. We can do personalized medicine and also like maybe make fake fuel and fake clothes. I'm trying to really download to y'all that the point is personalized medicine, period. That's the whole point of the synthetic biology. They're not trying to make no fuel for y'all. They're trying to exploit the existing fuel industry that works like it works now. What you talking about? Fuel. Anyway.
Brought to you by your single dad in Canada who was told pound sand by Karen Kingston and every single person that was busy hiding where they put all your tax dollars with nano.gov.
That is a real website, by the way.
536 Amen.
Mark 536, amen. That's how she closes all her episodes off. So like nano.gov, that's like a whole website. The government would never. It's illegal. You heard her say that earlier. But they would never. It's illegal. Yes, they would. Yes, they have. Yes, they are presently. And yes, they finna do it a whole lot more. And you can keep talking about legal and illegal, but half of y'all gave them consent in various ways. Now, I know you didn't know what you were consenting to, lack of informed consent, but it was still consent nonetheless. It was just uninformed consent. So I'm going to be releasing this because I think that this is just a great video, and I think it's hilarious when it's like a talking turd. And I think I want people to be like, who is this? Because I don't want them to know it's me. I mean, obviously you probably know it's me, but that's not the point. The point is to be like, I want to find that lady and hear what she's got to say. And hopefully people will start learning, okay? Moon Daddy, do they really want us around forever? Us? No. Them? Yes. So what she was mentioning earlier in this episode is that like the life extension technology is not for everyone. It was Aristotle and Socrates and Plato and them talking about what they call natural selection and creating the perfect race. You know, it's gone through different cultures and individuals over the years. But this idea of the master race or the perfect race that later folded into a study called eugenics, that later folded into a study. Thank you, Jay West. I'm going to pin Jay West's comment because Jay West, this non-vaxxer 420, he's the gentleman. Sorry, Jay West just posted a comment. Non-vaxxer 420 on Rumble. That's whose channel was that she was going through. Now, non-vaxxer does a lot of re-uploading and distilling of Sabrina's work. So his channel is sometimes his own stuff. It's sometimes just tech papers and things being read out. And then other times it's like uploads from Sabrina. So Sabrina is by no means the only person talking about this, but if you ask me, she is the most hilarious one talking about it. And she has a little bit of skin in the game in terms of her her family and just how she got to the position that she's in now. So I appreciate her work for sure. She has introduced a lot to me and she's given me a perspective. So I'm going to close it out with this, but I want people to know it is not Sabrina's aim nor my aim that you be afraid at all. I know I saw somebody say, this is kind of scary. Like, I don't know what to do. It is kind of scary. When you first hear about it, I'm not going to lie. I was sitting there like, what? And, you know, Just Insular also commented, Allison McDowell and Jesse the Thinker. I don't speak with Allison that often, but I do check her work out. And I actually do speak with Jesse quite often. We talk about Sabrina's work and Allison's work. And we bounce ideas back and forth a lot because I think all of those people you mentioned are great voices to kind of help explain what's happening. Allison definitely takes more of a philosophical approach and more of a framework-based approach, like a kind of like teaching and kind of outlined framework, high-level approach. I mean, she gets plenty granular, but it's really about the granularity in the big picture. Sabrina is more of a technical approach. It's definitely like manuals and acronyms and like things that you probably ain't never heard of unless you work in networking systems. So this has been my little kind of like funky wackadoodle way of hopefully helping make some sense and just sharing a little bit of my take as it relates to the announcement that Trump made. That's why I went through this whole thing, because I'm going, this dude is on stage at Larry Ellison talking about some Stargate. When you look up what Project Stargate was, that was a project that was relating to developing and honing and harnessing the psychic powers of individuals. Psychic is just an umbrella term in this context, not for like psychic Miss Cleo, nothing like that, but for premonition, precognition, telepathy, just like human electrical phenomena that they don't like to talk about. They just put under the umbrella called psychic because it uses your psych part of the brain. They can always be like, psych, ha 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 ha, this isn't real, it's just a dream, false memory syndrome or whatever. But the Project Stargate apparently, as Ms. Wallace has indicated, concluded on the exact same day that the Internet of Bodies went live. In 1995. How about that? So we're talking 30 years ago, this IOB went live. And now Project Stargate, almost to the day, right? 30 years, is ready to take front and center. Well, what does remote viewing have to do with what Donald Trump was talking about? Well, we're not going to get into the super duper the weeds, so to speak, on exactly what and how remote viewing is and what it works. But I will explain for people who have never heard of the concept of remote viewing. I want you to take a second and go watch the trailer or maybe like the first episode of a show on Netflix called Stranger Things. And if you've seen that show or you're familiar with that show, when Eleven, the character that Millie Bobby Brown plays, has to be placed in a sensory deprivation tank, a float. This is a float tank, but it's not just a float tank because it essentially is designed to suspend you and regulate your body temperature in such a way that your physical senses get pushed so far offline that you're in your astral sense. I'm butchering the explanation, but the show Stranger Things is showing you a concept of what it's like when you're remote viewing. It's the ability to take and focus on an individual location, a scenario, a situation in a separate dimensional consciousness, and then return back and explain or debrief or write out, auto dictate, or however what you saw. And this can be done at very far distances, and it's kind of a thing that the military has been broaching for forever. If you've ever seen the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats with Jeff Bridges and Kevin Spacey, and I forgot who else was in that movie is about the military taking on remote viewing in the 50s or 60s or whenever it was. And I remember watching this interview with a guy who was stationed at what was called Fort Bragg at the time, saying, yeah, Kevin Spacey is playing my character from real life. That's actually what we did. Men Who Stare at Goats, were they just trying to stare at goats? And, you know, for the sake of the narrative sense, no, they were trying to actually kill the goat by stopping the goat's heart remotely through, you know, any means necessary for war, you know, just for warfare. So, yeah, George Clooney. Yeah, you're right. That's who else was in that movie. But remote viewing is a whole, like, you know, I know a lot of people who talk favorably and kind of exciting about that particular ability. What I will say is this. If there is a division of the wireless body area network that is specifically the channel for remote viewers, a different subset of the same working group. I don't think people can trust what a pure concept of this is, outside of a entirely kind of tribal or almost like aboriginal experience, ever having dealt with anything military or government or private sector as far as America is concerned, and as it relates to remote viewing. It's all been the W band. All of it. Aliens, the ships, the orbs, all of it has just been government, meta materials, metaverse, all these new systems they're trying to just check and balance and interconnect, make sure, okay, when we go live, we gotta go live. Can't have no glitches. Can't have no glitches, bitches. Y'all know what I'm saying? So, I am Ushko asked, have I listened to the telepathy tapes? No, I haven't. I have been recommended to listen to that by multiple people. So I planned on doing it. I just have not listened yet. I have a hunch that is coming oddly right on cue. The timing of it all is just so serendipitous with this other big rollout that I can't help but imagine there's correlation there. But I haven't seen it, so I can't pass any judgment on what I haven't seen. So with that, y'all, that's essentially what I got going for tonight. I'm just gonna play all out. I'm gonna play all out. I hope y'all have a good night. Ho, 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 ho. I'm gonna release this probably tomorrow. I'll post this link. I'll save this chat. There's a song. I thought I started to do it. Tell me. Well, I'm only gonna play this song at the end. If somebody in the chat has heard it, I think it's their new single by Coldplay. It's called "All My Love." Have y'all heard this song? Is anybody familiar with this song? Because I don't want to. It's no fun playing a cover to a bunch of people who ain't never heard the original. Because they're like, "Oh yeah, great, it's a great song." It's only when you've heard the original that you're like, oh yeah. So if anybody in the chat, if I see one person that says, oh yeah, I know that song, then maybe I'll do it. And if y'all are like, yeah, Chris, go on and hang it out, then maybe I'll do that too. But I was playing that earlier. Let me turn my effects back on. There we go. I was playing it earlier. She says not familiar. Okay, well, good. It's a Coldplay song, so I can't take credit for it. I'll play it. I'll play like the first half of it. But I like this song. It's nice and chill. I'll put a little pad on there. Then A. You have a good night. No, I will wait. Don't get no mRNA, cancer shot, vaccine, or nothing. Oh, no, 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 no. Ooh, inhale, catch my breath, get that oxygen. Okay, y'all have a good night. All right? Okay? Good night.